Flight Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.
Like I said, Flight Sports TV, that's where it's at.
Flight Sports TV.
What's going on, people? It's Flight Sports TV. I appreciate y'all for checking with me. Y'all already know what it is. We back with another one of them things. And tonight we got to discuss a lot of Lonzo Ball, ZO2, the Chino Hills Prodigy. Also, a lot of Chicago Bulls talk. There's a lot of things going on in the NBA landscape. Obviously, we got a season approaching. It's so much. To be honest with you, the Chicago Bulls is like a soap opera, you know, and all of the different moving parts and personalities and what should they do, the people in the front office. I mean, there's so many layers, you know, how they handled or mishandled or the off season. You know, they re-signed some folks. They didn't let some people go. It was a lot of trade rumors. You know, it was a lot of smoke and mirrors. It was a lot of images. It always wasn't the right imagery. You know, when you see DeMar DeRozan with the young players and you don't see Zach LaVine anywhere to be found. Hell, the first time I seen them all together, you know, was at the Summer League. I seen Zach separate from the basketball team. So I don't really know, but I don't want to cause any speculation because I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm just telling you what I've seen. You know, so it's a lot of things that have to get rectified, you know, in that area, if you ask me. But if you're a Chicago Bulls fan, I mean, you got to be alarmed at what's going on because Lonzo Ball is out and he pretty much is the heartbeat and soul of the team, especially this regime of the Chicago Bulls. I can't speak for anything previous. I'm not talking about the Bulls in totality. We all know the rich, illustrious history of the Chicago Bulls. This is a legendary organization. This is a legendary franchise. But this team that they assembled, Lonzo Ball was going to be the driving force of it. And they still haven't dismantled the team, you know, despite Lonzo being out. And the Bulls clearly, it also, I didn't even get into it, they did get some relief due to the injury. So I think that let's see what the Chicago Bulls do, you know, this upcoming season. The East is stacked. I think gone are the days of the number one seed and things like that. They can kiss that goodbye, you know, especially without Lonzo Ball. This is going to be an uphill battle all season long. They're going to be scratching and clawing just like we've seen them. To be honest with you, they have picked up where they left off when Lonzo was out. I stated that. I stand on that, you know, and they have to get things rectified. They elected to bring back Billy Donovan, even though everything pointed to he needed to get the hell out of town. But for whatever case there is, you know, it is what it is. You know, Mr. Billy Donovan will return. But, I mean, this is just a shocking turn of events. Salute to everybody in the chat. Shout out Johnny Boy 714 says shout out Flight Sports TV. Much love. Appreciate your $2 super chat. Shout out Jessica. Shout out CWE Mark or everybody. Lonzo Ball's career is absolutely not over. You know, obviously it doesn't always look, you know, like good, you understand? So a lot of people are going to cause, you know, to pause and say different things. But at the end of the day, Lonzo Ball is doing everything every step it is to get back on the floor. So but that's obviously we understand that Lonzo is rehabbing. AK came out and stated that he will be out again as he rehabs, and they don't expect him to return. So clearly, they have Lonzo Ball in the plans. It may not be the plans that you like or I like, but he's in the plans. You understand? So it is what it is. It's gonna be interesting to see. We just getting started. Salute to Godfrey in the chat. Shout out Twin. You already know what it is. ZO2. You're gonna hear it first here. I'll always have confidence. Listen, Lonzo Ball ZO2, the Chino Hills prodigy, will return. It may not be on your timetable. It may not be on my timetable, but Lonzo Ball will return to the floor. This is one of the greatest point guards that there is in this era. I'm talking about pure point guards. You understand? And I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, no matter where it's done, his history will be made. They're going to be talking about this guy for years to come. They're already talking about him. His just alone, what he's done for the game alone, people recognize it. Legends recognize it. The greats recognize it, and that's really what all that matters. It's flight sports. Shout out my man Anthony and on the panel. What's the deal? It's Flight Sports TV.
Can I say something?
What's that?
When Lonzo Ball was healthy and playing on this Bulls team, they were so much of a better squad. You remember what seed they were when Lonzo was healthy and playing
Oh
on that
yeah,
team?
come on. I don't got amnesia. That was the first seed in the East. It seemed like that was 10 years ago. Especially with the tragic turn of events that has happened in Chicago. They've pretty much plummeted to the cellars. A team that looked like they was, on the up and ups, and
Oh, you're correct.
they just like I said, they just went all the way down. It's unfortunate. It is what it is at the end of the day. But you can't sit up here and discredit what he did for the Chicago Bulls while he was there. And just speaking, if he was able to stick around, what could you imagine what would have been able to do? Just got to remember, if I could just refresh everybody's memory, I know people do know Lonzo and the Bulls when he got there, it didn't start off good. It was a lot of rocky games in the beginning. He started to find his stride. It was numerous injuries where it caused for Lonzo to step up. And Lonzo Ball answered the call every time it was upon him. And the Bulls was actually elevating, and his stats and numbers were starting to move up, as he was getting more and more comfortable facilitating this style of offense with these cast of characters. Because, it was partly him trying to get acquiesce to the system. Also, you had DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, they were dominating. Also, you had a situation where DeMar DeRozan was an MVP candidate. I'm trying to take people down memory lane. Lonzo Ball was dealing with all of that. Injuries. He's stepping up. He was supposed to be the point guard of the team, but you have this guy who was supposed to be the co-star to the number one guy who you came there for, which was really Zach. They happen to re-sign DeMar out of nowhere, and DeMar DeRozan becomes an MVP candidate. So the offense and the style of play was completely in disarray if you add in all of these goddamn variables. I mean, you got to point all of this out, man. We got to put it in totality. This is not an excuse. What I'm really saying is, could you imagine if he was able to continue, and the injuries didn't come into play? I just think that Lonzo Ball, we as fans of Lonzo Ball, especially day one fans, whether you was upset at the way things were going on teams, personally, the style Lonzo was being utilized, maybe you felt like he should have stepped up that night in this area, but at the end of the day, Lonzo Ball was elevating as a basketball player, and everybody knows that, and he got a great contract with the Bulls. And he was proving that every single penny of that money, he should have got more. I mean, if you really start to analyze the situation, so I just want to let everybody know that. What were you about to say, Anthony?
I was gonna bring up the fact I wasn't gonna say actually nothing. I was listening to you. You have very good points. I was just gonna say
Yeah,
your
back to the good points. The Chicago Bulls now they're in a tough situation because they still holding on to the team that Lonzo Ball is pretty much the glue of, and without the glue, you see, just everything is just falling apart. It seemed like it's just a matter of time before it just goes to hell. And I hope that's not the case for Chicago because like I said, and I'm not discussing the Bulls in totality. Remember, I'm telling people, Bulls fans out there, know that I'm not trying to, cater to your emotions, but I'm just trying to explain to you that this version of the Bulls is not going to function without Lonzo Ball. And AK and them know that. So they are holding on to faith that Lonzo can return some point next season. Not this season coming up, but like I said, AK has already ruled out Lonzo. If they really wanted to get off Lonzo Ball, if they felt like he wasn't this, he wasn't that, they just cut him. There's a lot of things that they could do if they was very frustrated and they wanted to start really flipping switches out here. But that's not the case. I think that they understand the situation that's going on here, and I believe that they know the importance of Lonzo. And this guy, you got to get and think about the front office people. AK, he got cheated as well. Because this man was in the running of, he was going to probably win Executive of the Year. If that's what I'm trying to explain to the people. Could you imagine if everything could have just continued the way it was moving? The injuries, none of that shit came into play. These guys was on their way to winning numerous individual accolades, numerous team accolades. Lord knows what they would have done. I'm not saying they was going to go to the championship, but I think that they would definitely got a better first round matchup. They would have never drew the Milwaukee Bucks. Because that's just horrible, for you to go in the first round going up against the Bucks. They would have been had a better seed. I believe with Lonzo, I don't know if they would have finished with the number one seed because teams was moving, but I think that they could have at least been a 3 seed, in my humble opinion. That's what I truly believe. They could have been the top 3 seed. But I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. The Chicago Bulls, they gotta get it together. Especially now in this situation that they're in with the teams that's elevating in the East, especially down bottom. You got a lot of teams that want to do some things. The Chicago Bulls this last season that just passed, they happen to find themselves at the bottom. Especially compared to where they should have been. But this thing could continue to just go downhill if they don't change their style of play. They tried to put band-aids on the situation by acquiring this guy, acquiring that guy, but at the end of the day, it all didn't work itself out. You know, um, it's just like I said, the Bulls continue to drop and drop and drop for whatever reason there is. I really don't know why that's happening, but it is what it is. Anthony, if you back right now, how can the Chicago Bulls fix their situation with Lonzo Ball out this season? Is there any way that they could get to the top of the Eastern Conference, anywhere like a top 5 seed, somewhere in that range?
um yeah, but I will say this. I think they need one if they want to do that, they need like another guy. They need one more star player. So maybe at like halfway through the season, maybe they get like a maybe they trade for like a very good player because don't the Bulls have some picks?
I'm like I said, I have to double check the draft
I
situation,
I
but
think they have some picks. So
I
what I would
mean,
do is I would try
yeah,
to pair the picks up with a player and then try to
yeah.
get.
Who you talking about? Like, give me some ideas.
I don't know. I mean, let's see. Maybe like a Jared Allen. You know,
Right, I'm listening. That could that wouldn't be bad.
like those kind of guys. I can't name them off the top of my head, but like those kind of guys.
That could help. I know they can't get Pascal Siakam.
Yeah,
I
I think the
mean,
Hawks were about to get Siakam.
I'm hearing his name a lot. Toronto, they need to do DeMar DeRozan a favor. So I mean, they need to just send him Siakam and just get it over with.
That would
They
be
they owe Demar, something. They did him dirty.
yeah, they did.
They need to let him do, but that's not gonna happen. They're gonna try to get somebody good for him. But I mean, Pascal Siakam is a good player. I think he'll help Chicago. I like that move that you said with Jared Allen. That came out of nowhere. Pause. Basically, I think that they need a different look at center too. I mean, you got Vucevic there. I think he. I don't think he is a liability at times. But I mean, sometimes he goes off. So it's interesting to see how all this works out. But you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, and
Yes.
I think that's the problem for Chicago. They got to stop doing that. They have to stop looking for different results. Doing the same thing. They need to shake it up for real. And I don't necessarily mean trade Zach and Demar. But do you think they had to re-sign Vooch?
No,
So why'd they do it?
I don't know. I don't know who made that. I don't think that was a very good decision. You know, like I said, I think they should get a guy like Jared Allen, who's more versatile than Vooch. Vooch is more of like a pick and pop guy. But don't get me wrong, Vooch is good, but they like a guy like Jared Allen will get them to the next level in the East. I think.
I think he definitely give him a different look. He answers all the things defensively. I think he fixes a lot of things that they're going through. Because they with Lonzo, they lost defense. Obviously, they lost playmaking and 3-point shooting and things of that nature. But they could add some defense that they losing. They trying to get Drummond to do some things, but Drummond is just his days are over.
Yeah,
Doing that. And then they getting Tristan Thompson. I mean, they was really getting desperate at the center. And I know what they were looking for. They're looking for something like Jared Allen. I think he would be the perfect call. I don't know what they're going to do with DeAndre Ayton. I don't know if they can get in that sweepstakes.
that would
You
be a
know,
very good pickup too.
yeah, that'd be like a home run. That might cost you something serious. I don't know what that would be.
Yeah,
Could it be Vooch? They might want a player like Vooch. You know, different styles. But I think they're gonna stick with DeAndre Ayton. But let's see what the Bulls
yeah.
could add. But they do got some young talent too.
Ao, I like that. They re-signed Ao. I like that.
Yeah, Io DeSumo is definitely in the cards. Where you see his future with them? Obviously, they're gonna need him possibly. You know,
For his future, I think in the future on this team, I think he could be a future six man of the year.
right? Yeah,
I think
yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, Io is cool. They lost this guy. This guy just signed with the Dallas Mavericks. Derrick
Derek
Jones
Jones.
Jr. Yeah, I mean he wasn't really getting too much, minutes out there. But I mean he's a decent player. I think if he could get the minutes, definitely out there in Dallas, I think he gonna get some playing time. They need a player like that. You got Kyrie. They need shooting. He gonna be going. He gonna be dunking and all kind of shit. What's good, Uncle Ron?
Hey, what's going on, Flat? We talking
What's good?
about the Bulls today, huh?
Yeah, Chicago, man. There's a lot of things going on with the Bulls and the state of Chicago. Just trying to get just more of an insight on how can they function without Lonzo Ball being out again. How is there any hope for them to, you know, be relevant? In this NBA in this year, we all know, and I'm not talking about the Bulls, and we all know this is an illustrious franchise. It's historic, but this version of Chicago, this Bulls team, Lonzo Ball is the driving force. He's the heartbeat and soul. He's the glue, whatever the hell you want to call it. And without him, this whole thing is about to could just crumble to pieces. And we're
Yes.
watching it right before our very eyes. What's your thoughts, Uncle Vern?
My thoughts are the same. You just stated my thoughts off, right? You know what I'm saying? It ain't the fact that it's crumbling before our eyes. It's just the fact that well, like, I don't like to use that phrase "shit happens," but it just so happens Lonzo got hurt, and they really wasn't planning on that. They was planning on Lonzo to be that man flight, and I really believe that the Bulls did have nothing against Lonzo or anything like that. Even they stood up there, they still sticking for him to a point where they won't go out and make no change because they have to defeat their purpose of keeping them and getting them in the first place. Why try to bring in another person and pay them that kind of money or whatever when they got the man that can do it? You understand me? You just gotta wait for them to come back. So I understand that. So they help with that come when they pay on their scale and everything. They got a grant, they got some kind of help with that with the league and everything. So all they can do is just wish for the best and hope for the best for Lonzo to come back. So after all that's done and said, they still got the problem of that starting lineup with Zach LaVine and DeRozan all together. They still got to fix that animal. And then we sit up here, we talking about what is it? Drummond? Andre Drummond, did you say? Come on, man. We passed that situation, so it ain't nothing. It seems like we already back to plan A from 2 years. I mean, from last year.
Flight.
Yeah.
Another player that would actually be good because they do need some depth at the powerful position.
Who is it? You have to let me know who the player is. I wonder if they. I know they can't get in the PJ Washington sweepstakes. He's still
Christian
out there.
Wood.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
averaging
He's a
17
good
and
player.
7.
He don't play no defense, but I mean he can score.
I mean, next year if Lonzo could come back, that would be, I think, a top 5 seed or so. I think they should sign Christian Wood.
I mean, we have to see. I don't know. I think it's the reason these guys ain't got picked up yet. You know, I mean, that's crazy. Christian Wood looked like he was going to be a good player. You know, he flashed a lot of good signs, pause, like he was going to be a good player, but it seemed like something going on. But it's the defense. That's what, I watched him play a couple of times this year, and he played good.
Yeah.
But I don't know why teams don't mess with him. I really don't know. I'm trying to figure out. He need to go to a real championship contender where these other teams relying on him, trying to make
Well,
him do
I
too
watched
much.
him when he was at Houston.
He's a good player.
Yeah, I watched him
Yeah,
when he was at Houston. When he was at Houston, he was undersized and he didn't have that kind of motor. He ain't got that kind of like NBA motor. You know, he up and down like that. And it's another player too. I forgot his name. Played for another team, the same way. He don't really play hard like that. And then he's not no real protector. Then if you play him at power forward, it seems like he don't have an outside game or to the basket game. Seems like he got a center's game, but he's undersized. And
Who would?
he don't have that, like I said, he don't have that kind of motor, like that
Who would?
center kind of motor. Yeah, the one that used to play at Houston, that's the same one.
Well, I mean, I
What is
think they
it?
could run him
Power
at the
forward.
4,
They put him
though.
at center. The matter of fact, when he was at Houston. Yeah. Well, all right. Then you go with that post up game and everything else. He ain't got that kind of game. He has a center game, but he's undersized. And then last problem again, when he undersized, he ain't playing that good of defense because he playing against 7-footers, and he's what 6'9", 6'10".
Yes.
So he's undersized. So they go to what Flight was just saying. He's playing out of position because of the fact that his defense ain't working, and he's not a real protector. So what can the Bulls do with him?
that's what I'm saying. He basically another Vucevic.
That's a question.
I mean,
Well,
Vucevic.
maybe for now, pick up Wood, and then halfway through the season, if it's not working with him and Vooch, then you go try to package a trade, Vucevic, and maybe some picks for Allen. I think that would be.
Bulls got to figure out what they're gonna do with DeRozan and that makes sense. Like you right, that makes sense. I agree with that. But Bulls' biggest problem is right now this year what they got to do is figure out what they're gonna do with DeRozan and Zach
Green.
LaVine, try to get them to coexist together because they have
Yeah.
to. Because if it come down to it, Boots is a problem, but Boots is a problem that can help the Bulls because of the fact that if they winning and being productive, they'd be all right. But they can't be winning and be productive because they're not on the same. All of them ain't on the same page. And your most two important players are those ones that ain't on the same page. So you still got a problem. And Zoe ain't there to try to unite them and get them into the game. So you ain't got no player that's going to do that up front, in the back court, not up front, but in the back court. You don't have that type of player that does that. You got scoring guards in the back court. Not no playmakers, scores. So they still got the same thing they left off the court with last time. They just barely made it to the playoffs. So I see the same thing. They record they had last year, I see that same record this year. If not, a little bit worse.
Okay, I agree with you on that. If they don't pick up,
Yeah, that's what I.
So are the Bulls gonna be in the playoffs next year?
Well, it depends what moves they make.
Well, they was in the. How far? Well, the question should be how far the Bulls are going to make it in the playoffs. Because remember, they still look AJ Flight. If they have look here, if they come down to the midseason, this is my point. If they come down to the midseason, it looks like they're not going to be getting off into the playoffs. They're going to make that move between DeRozan and one of them. One of them going to be going real fast because they're going to have to do that because they still know where they're going wrong, and that's what their problem is. Like. It ain't really Boots. It ain't really him. He to a certain extent, he ain't doing nothing but half-ass holding his own. But they still got that problem with the two dudes, man. They ain't coexisting. They should be the best double hitter in the league. They should be on point like that. But they ain't nowhere near close to that in their relationship with one another. It's just like having Gordon Hayward and LaMelo.
You're right about that.
They got confusion in their locker room, but
there's a lot of confusion.
Yeah, they got confusion. Like they got to deal with that. They got to deal with that. And I hate that you have to get rid of Levine. I think Levine will go first though before DeRozan because they didn't already put their marbles in DeRozan. Even though they paid Zach Levine, they still put all their marbles on DeRozan because he's gonna be the one keep getting the ball. Like that's my point. Shit, they say he get the ball. It comes down to the last part, he get the ball. And whoever getting the ball at the last minute, who the man is the one that getting the ball? Like who the man? It ain't about who getting paid more, Flight.
Yo, when DeMar hit those game winners,
they got a problem with that.
Yeah, there's something going on.
Yeah, I'm telling you. You know, well, yeah.
I think if they would have won, they would have hit him in cool winning. But they losing.
Right. No, one of them to a certain extent, one of them got to really humble. One of them got to humble themselves, and I don't see Zach LaVine humbling himself like that. Well, to a certain extent, he is doing it because he's deferring off to him anyway. So how much has he got to humble himself? I didn't answer that question myself. I'm sorry. He ain't got to humble himself because he's deferring to him in the first place. Because that's the game plan. So he can't do too much more than humble himself. What he's doing right now, am I right or wrong? They still got that problem though. They can't coexist on the same thing and win like that. What they doing now don't bring about winning. Yeah. And they ain't got no defense. That's another problem. Zach LaVine halfway played the defense. DeRozan ain't playing no defense. Well, they got so many problems. It's pitiful.
You said they got so many problems. Nah, but DeMar DeRozan, I think they just need to change how they play. But I said this last year, and that's not gonna happen. Yeah, that's their biggest problem. They're not gonna change. But what you think about DeMar DeRozan stepping up his leadership with the young players, things that Zach don't do?
Yeah, I think that goes. I agree because that goes along with. I heard you mention that before too. That was he was doing all this summer. He was, stepping it up with them. He was taking the practice, going to different places and doing different things with them. And Zach LaVine wasn't really participating in that situation. You understand me? And I understood that then. I still say it the same way. It's like that don't add up to winning, Flight. That's That's what I think about that situation. That don't add up to winning. That's just another part of it. That's kind of like hating. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we got to coexist, bro. You know?
No, you're right.
It's like I can't invite you. I can't invite the whole team to my wedding and not invite you too. I mean, that look kind of ridiculous. You understand me? I invite the ushers at the parking lot. They coming. They got invitations, but you ain't got no invitation. You ain't at the wedding. That don't make sense. Hating. And that's Zach LaVine to a certain extent. But like I said, Zach LaVine can't bow down. Now, how much more you want Zach LaVine to bow down?
Yeah, that is true.
And that's to a point that I tell you, when it comes down to that money, though, he ain't gonna bow down on that money as he fight.
Yeah, I mean, he did get paid. They paid him like he was number one option.
I'm telling you, man, not being the number one option too. Yep. Oh boy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Zach LaVine and DeMar, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hopefully before midseason. If not,
I'm trying to figure out what DeMar, what the Zach wanted. I mean, Zach wanted some talent. They got him talent. You can't complain now.
Okay, when you say they got him talent, what talent did the Bulls? What talent the Bulls got? Who
Well, no, I'm not so much as of late, but when he was going into that contract, yeah, that's when they signed Lonzo. That's when they signed DeMar.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, they made moves.
Right. They made moves on but for both of them to be happy. Vooch got what he wanted, not Vooch, but DeRozan got what he wanted. Zach LaVine got what he wanted.
Initially they traded. See, it's now that you said that, it started the year before they signed Lonzo and everybody. They traded for Vooch.
Right.
They traded for Vooch.
On the Magic.
Yeah, they traded that center, and they still searching for his style of play. That center. I forgot his name already. Somebody remind me. He's a good player too. It'll come back to me. The center that got traded for him. But I mean, that's wild.
Oh, with the African dude?
I forgot his name.
What is his name?
That's crazy.
Mo Bamba? It ain't Mo Bamba, is it?
No, not Mo Bamba. Oh man, how the hell did I forget his name? But he got. I remember he got drafted by Chicago, and he's a good center. And basically, and now
Patrick Williams.
No, not Patrick Williams. I know that he stretched. He took his game out to the 3-point line now too, but he basically blocks shots.
Does he play for the Bulls?
He plays for Orlando.
Oh, I know. I think I know who you're talking about. Wendell.
Yeah, Wendell.
Wendell Carter?
Yeah, Wendell Carter.
Oh, okay, bet. Okay, yeah, you're right. He did play for the Bulls. You're right. He did. You're right. I forgot about it. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, Wendell Carter. Yeah, Wendell Carter Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need a center like him. So they kind of trying to do their best to fix what they lost. But I don't know. They traded for Vooch. They started with Vooch, then they signed everybody else. So they built a team, that was worthy to be up there, but they lost the point guard.
And that's one of their biggest pieces.
Especially with the way they play. They need to be able to switch it up. With Lonzo, even though they didn't always let Lonzo do what he was supposed to do, and mind you, DeMar was, what I said before, was not making excuses. DeMar DeRozan was in the midst of an MVP season. So that kind of wrecked the offense. It wrecked everything in terms of, listen, you got to get this dude the ball. I mean, point blank period. He was having a hell of a year. You had LeBron James tweeting Debo and all this other shit. I didn't even know that was his name. Pause until all this stuff happened. They started calling him Debo. So, I mean, it's wild.
Hey, Flight. And then that reminds me, like you just said it like that. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense because even when Lonzo was playing, they was always going with that fourth quarter thing, get the ball to DeRozan like that. They always still had that same thing in mind instead of running plays.
You had to at that time.
Yes, Sadiq. Talk, brother.
What am I? And yeah, all right, what's up now? But this is my point though. My point is this though, Flight. See, they still got that same coach that's still running them same old lousy ass plays there. Get the ball to Rosen at the end, you know what I'm saying, like that. It makes sense, but I'm saying it seems like you would have more plays than just get the ball to get a Rosen all the time. But it seems like they still got that same coach, so they still gonna be running them same plays. What you think? And it ain't gonna be hard to stop DeRozan because of the fact they know that they going to him all the time like that. And it ain't like DeRozan is Michael Jordan that can take over like that. He can hold his own, but he can't take over. And if you stop the score, then you go slowing them down again. But he's money though.
Yeah, he ain't
But he
Michael
ain't
Jordan.
killer like that though. So it's like it ain't too much. He's like 60-40. He's 60, they 40. He get it on that time. But how long can he keep being hot like that?
He don't make players better. That's the problem.
The coach. My point is this: the coach run that plays. He could be running different kind of plays to get the ball to Rose's hand and then get the ball into the other guy's hand too, if it come down to it. But he just purposely concentrate on having the ball in DeRozan's hands at the close of the second.
To be honest with you, this Bulls situation is an easy fix. DeMar and Zach, they need to become facilitators. They need to just move the basketball more than they're doing. That's really what they need to do. They lost playmaking with Lonzo. They need to fill in the gaps.
Yeah. They don't have the kind of guard.
They draw a lot of attention, and they need to use that attention, to move the offense.
Yeah. Yeah, Kobe White and what's his name? The one that played in Illinois. They're not the kind of guys that do the kind of stuff like that. That's not in their character. That's not in their job description. Yeah, they don't set up the whole thing. They set up and get that ball in the basket. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, there's a lot of good.
So they put all their bubbles in the three players: DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Lonzo. You understand me? And Boot, but some went wrong with that situation. Now Lonzo was out, so it's a hiccup in back to replace it. If not, then they're gonna dramatically make a move. Dramatically. To a certain extent, I really don't see them waiting for Lonzo to come back. I think they're gonna make a move before mid-season.
Well, I think
they're gonna have to.
Yeah, I think that the fans want it. I mean, they pushing for it. They want them to do something.
I don't even know what. It seems what I've been noticing about the Chicago Bulls fans, they ain't really been pushing too much for a change. If they was, they'd be pushing for.
Not so much.
They really ain't pushing. They get no heat on the coach.
That's drastic. That's more of a drastic change. I thought you meant more like they was gonna just maybe trade some players just to get a decent quality guard in there, to help them out. But if they trade DeMar and Zach, that's more.
Hey, look. Let me say this, Flight, so that you understand what I'm saying. Look. They're talking about trade get rid of the goddamn coach before they ever think about getting rid of DeRozan or Zach LaVine. Do you understand me, Flight? That's 200 some odd million. You ain't giving no coach no 200 some odd nothing. Come on, Flight. That's the upper level decision. That ain't got nothing to do with the coach. Matter of fact, the coach is on his way out soon. Okay, thank you. The coach is on his way out soon, Flight. I'm telling you. Yeah, you shut the fuck up, stupid. Yeah, Flight. No, that's the upper room decision, Flight. That ain't got nothing to do with the coach. He barely got a job. They should get rid of him anyway.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. It don't make no sense.
At least they'll be able to run. They'll be able to run some more plays besides to give DeRozan the ball. I bet you they run the same play. I bet you they run the same play.
Yeah, they isolate. I mean, they give it to DeMar, they give it to Zach, and then they figure it out. They just got to get these other
Right.
players
See, there you
involved
go
in the
again. Boy,
basketball. That's all they got to
unless
do
they
is just
got some new players to put in. Yeah.
who?
And I said, unless they got some new players to get involved too. And last time I heard that, check, they ain't got no new players. So, just a minute, Flight.
Yeah, man, it just don't make no sense. Rap guy says Donovan to me on his way out after. Unless the Cavaliers ain't doing nothing, nothing. He made a terrible mistake. He made the same mistake that DeMar DeRozan made. Not DeMar, he made the same mistake that, Kyrie made, the same mistake that Kevin Durant and them made when they elected to go to Brooklyn, when they should have just came to New York. And he elected to go to Cleveland, and look how it turned out. And I would imagine if he would have just fought to get with Jalen Brunson, right here in New York, what would have happened? You see? I mean, it's crazy. They would have definitely went further. They probably would have went to the. They probably would have went to the finals if they would have had. If they would have had Donovan Mitchell this season. The Knicks was good. They just needed somebody else. That's all. That would have been crazy. Let me know your thoughts if they would have got. If the Knicks would have somehow been able to get him, that would have been crazy. Yeah. Thunder says too old to be moving around. Like, I mean, the whole entire Chicago Bulls offense, they need a new coach, really, man. They need something. They're not gonna get rid of the players. Get rid of the goddamn coach. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just what I would do. But they are committed. I want to see their commitment. What if the Bulls somehow get out to a bad start? I'm not advocating for none of this to happen, but what if the Bulls start off bad? Then what?
Yeah. Well, if the Bulls start off bad, that's what they're going to start. That's what they're going to turn around. They're going to either turn around and get rid of the coach, they're going to turn around and get rid of DeRozan. Well, not DeRozan, but Zach LaVine. That's the change. They have to make one of them changes. Either be the coach that's going to be the change, it's going to be them to do it, and they're going to bring them into next season, or it's going to be Zach LaVine. Get up to get that on that trade deadline before the mid-season. Get on the trade deadline. Since they didn't do it this summer, get them on the trade deadline. For the trade deadline, get them off mid-season. That'd be another move. And then they know by that time how long it's going to be before Lonzo get back anyway. They know the condition of how he's going to come back, and they can still stick with that DeRozan thing, which I have to just get rid of it. Yeah, you know. Well, not DeRozan would stick with them two being together. Yeah. So yeah, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be either that or, like I said, either coach go or Zach LaVine. Simple. Then to a certain extent, they already made that decision.
It's crazy.
They just have to wait and see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
How do
You're
you
right about
like
that.
you're breaking up?
I said they did just pay Zach.
Yeah.
I could see something like that happening. They're either gonna fire, the coach, or they're gonna make a trade. Especially if they get out to a bad start, because I think get to the point.
Right.
Shit gets too expensive.
Right. And another thing to remember this though, Flight. It's always good to give a player that kind of money, especially when you want to keep them. When you want to keep them, it's good to give them that money because that's ensure the fact that you're gonna get more than that back when you come back and you trade for them. Because people gonna have to come up and reach that price in order to get them. And he might not be with you might come to a conclusion and say, well, don't worry about it because he really ain't all that for us anyway, because he wasn't gonna win no games. We can't do a conclusion a long time we wasn't gonna win no games. But if y'all like him, then y'all just gonna pay that price to get him off our hands. That's not a problem. You can't understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they might be willing to let that Zach LaVine thing go before they do that DeRozan thing. You understand me?
Are you sure on that? I think they need to let go of
Right.
DeRozan.
Because then it goes like I'm not cutting you off though, Flight, but I want you to get to understand it. It goes right back to what you were saying about the Roses sitting up there shopping, taking the players out, shopping, having dinner, running around the town of Chicago, and they doing this over here and doing all that. Did you ask the question? Is Zach with him? Well, no, Zach's at home with planning the wedding. Yeah. I wonder who name ain't gonna be on the invitation at the wedding. They go right back to me repeating myself again, but that's what it seemed like to me though, Flight.
Yeah, you're right about that. Sis.
Yeah.
Almost time. It's
So
just
until that situation gets worked out, then it's going to be a problem out there.
Thunder said Billy gets outcoached by 80% of the games, and that's me being generous.
You know, and that's being generous. It is. That's being generous. 80 plus, at least I'll say the same thing. At least 80%.
My bad, y'all.
Yo, Anthony, you there?
Yeah, my bad, y'all.
Yo, let me tell you something. If you say something like if you just keep like disrupting the show, man, the next time you ain't gonna come back on here no more. It's probably be the last time.
It was
No, I
not
know.
me.
I'm just letting you know if something like that happened again, this is gonna be the last time me
It
and
was
you
one of my
ever
siblings,
talk.
bro. It was one of
Okay,
my siblings.
I know what it is. I'm just telling you, if it happens again, me and you, this is gonna be the last day we talking.
Oh,
Hopefully
okay.
it don't happen again though, because I mean,
My
Go
bad.
ahead, go ahead and talk to it. Go ahead. See what you got to say,
you
bro.
mute your mic and just mute your mic. That's all.
No, yeah, right. I want to hear what you got to
That's
say.
not you. No, that's not you. No, that's the second
What are you
time that happened.
saying, bro?
Okay.
But
All
go
right.
ahead. No, he good. But it's just
Okay,
a.
go.
It's
Shut the.
they're gonna be cool. They're gonna be just fine. They just need to change the way they play. Like I said, if DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine pass the ball, they're gonna be straight. But like I said, the chances of that happening is gonna be slim to none. I just see the same thing. Your turn, my turn. Just shooting, just ill-advised shots, and they don't have the coach who could reel them in and get everything under control. That's why I think that if you're gonna keep everybody, re-sign Vooch, why you don't just get a different voice, just to try to get a different outcome out of the cast of characters that they got right now.
There you go. I agree 100%. Why bring back that same problem? That's the same coach. That's winning 80% of his just losing 80% of his games because of his lack of knowledge or understanding. He can't even understand the fact you can't just keep giving the Rose the ball. God dang it at that time. Even if he is Superman, sooner or later you got to stop going to that well because you go stop. You go stop and isolate others. And you can't afford to isolate others because your offensive mentality is not that strong. And you just can't keep going to the well that long because it's going to dry up. And the others ain't going to come through because they have the lack of knowledge to doing it in the first place because you give it to DeRozan all the time. So now you just get the ball and say, now you step up. I said, Dad, coach, it's kind of hard for me to step up now because I ain't got my groove. You been let DeRozan get the groove all year. Now you can't groove. Now you want me to groove. Now I bet. Oh, that's right. That's why I get paid the big bucks.
Yeah, listen, they're gonna be good. Like I keep saying. Shout out to all the Chicago Bulls fans around the world. Hopefully, y'all season comes out good this year. You got a wild season approaching. It seems like y'all it's just more of the same. I'm trying to think. They haven't added anything. They haven't, it's, like I said, it's just feel like they're reinvesting in the team that they have. But and I heard you say something, Uncle Vern, about them trading Zach. They probably would get more for Zach. I mean, he locked up long term. DeMar, his contract, I think about shit, it ain't about to be too much longer.
Who is that? DeRozan?
Whenever Lonzo get back, it's gonna be a contract year.
Right. I already know. With DeRozan, yeah. Lonzo contract is up 2000 what? 2026.
I think
He
that
got more years of contract. He got this year and
yeah,
next year after that.
yeah. I think it's a player option if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. Well, you're right, right. And it would be no reason why he would leave for the player option.
No,
He'd take that player option, especially coming off injury,
no,
unless he just really want to get away from there.
no. He'll probably be there for the duration of the whole contract, especially with the Bulls. He
Right.
don't owe the Bulls anything, but the Bulls have. I know they've worked with him. They haven't publicly, did anything crazy. So I think that if it's a situation where he can stay 2 more years, I think he would do it.
Okay. Yeah, Rob Guy Reloaded said that Zoe's contract is up in 2025. Yeah. So, yeah. I say you did it like that. Yeah. I don't
Man,
see Zoe. I don't see.
the
I,
87 gun shoes.
yeah. I don't see him running away from them like that. I see him just living it out to the end of that time. And then I don't know what the Bulls gonna do when it comes to it end, but I would. I don't see Zoe just up and just leave him like that. Leave him hanging like that. Even if Zach Levine go, I wouldn't be that for that. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it should not make no sense. Uncle Van,
Yeah.
I thought that the Bulls would have did something, especially with the things they're dealing with. I like Io DeSumo. I think that was a good move.
Right.
Um, how good you think he's gonna become? Throughout the duration of his contract.
Well, he got that rookie contract, so what he got like 3 years? Maybe 4 years, 3 years?
I'm gonna look up the years right now. I know that he just signed.
Yeah. But he gonna be all right as far as that go flight. It's just the thing about him is this that he's a scoring guard, flight, and NBA got a lot of scoring guards. And he's not really stepped down tough real like that on
It's 3
defense.
years.
Huh?
3 years, 21
Yeah,
million.
right, 3 years, right, yeah. So he ain't really. He's a scoring guard, flight. He's a good scorer. He's a young scoring guy. He's got a lot to learn also, but he's learning fast. So you can see his upside as being real good. But I don't know. But then he got his drawbacks as far as what they need on the Chicago Bulls because they don't really need no scoring guard on Chicago Bulls right now. They need
Well,
some
I mean,
playmakers.
he averaged 8 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. I mean, he was doing all right, and he did step up in Lonzo's absence. They was calling upon him, to do things, but I guess they wasn't so confident in him because they brought in Beverly, they brought in all these other people. They should have probably let him as much development as possible.
Oh, okay, Flight. See, that was your point. Your point is right back to Mountain. You said they brought in who? Beverly, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
recently.
now Beverly is good for what, Flight? He's a playmaker, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
see,
no,
there you go,
defense.
old boy, Flight. I'm telling you, it don't take you long to catch on. It didn't take them long to catch on neither did. So then they sit up there and let Beverly come in and take out the sumo minutes. You understand me? Because he can't fill that category what they needed him to do in the first place. So they're gonna turn around and pay him again and still get the same thing because he's not a playmaker. So they're gonna go out and hire
Shut.
another playmaker to take his place now, right? And keep both of them.
No, you're right. Shout out Mo with your $5 a cash app. Appreciate you. It's Flight Sports. You already know my man Mo. He says that for hope that ZO2 comes back healthy.
Yeah, I do too. Hope and pray.
Yeah, Anthony, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yo, I'm gonna ask you a question about Lonzo Ball. Do you think that he's gonna come back? At some point, not this season, obviously, but at least the following. What's the chances? Are you there?
I think 50-50. I can't really tell right now. I think
It is hard to tell.
if he sits out another season and he doesn't come back next season and he sits out a whole nother season, then I mean his career, I mean it's just there's no like it's almost done. Because he has been I don't know what injury does he have?
Well, like I said, is he had a knee situation, but the initial thing that's going on right now is he had the cartilage plasma, transplant, situation. So that thing is, I believe they said he's going to be the first player ever to come back from that. But obviously that's what's going to be needed. It started with a meniscus. It was this. It was just a series of different, things, just one after another. It seemed like they corrected this, they corrected that, but it was this. So I mean, that seemed like the whole entire situation. I think the Bulls had a hand in this too. Lonzo did post a workout video, of him in the gym. Had everybody believing that he was on his way back. The Bulls, as well, and for it all to come crashing down like that, it was definitely odd because it seemed like things was moving in the direction of him returning. And this has been a shocking turn of events. I don't think anybody's seen this coming. Where he would be out this long. This amount. This, especially when it happened. Like he was just playing. Okay, he's out for knee sore and whatever the hell. But nobody expected the next. We never see him for forever. Or whatever he does return. But it seems like it's been forever because we had so many different timetables that wasn't fulfilled, and shit. I mean, it don't make no sense. Who do we have to blame for this? We putting 6 to 8 week timetables out, and it's nothing.
Yes.
Timetable is just not fulfilled for whatever reason, but it's sad. It's a sad day. Because people want to see Lonzo Ball play.
Yes.
But I mean, it is what it is. Chicago Bulls just got to roll their sleeves up and get to work and just try to hang in there. I don't know why they did get the trade exception though. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's like 10 million or something like that. So let's see what they do with that. They were fighting for that. Let's see if they'll use it.
Yeah, I agree. Instead of taking it in their pocket,
Yeah, I mean, because if they're not gonna do nothing with this, that would just be stupid. Who was out there for them to get? I mean, this is like so many different questions. Could they use that in the signing trade? Like I said, you still got some free agents out there that need homes, and the Bulls they need to try to acquire as much talent as possible, especially if it fits the timeline and things of that nature.
Huh.
I know that DeMar and Zach they're gonna need some shooters.
Yeah.
They need a player like Austin Reeves, a dude that can shoot but
Hey,
play the
Flight,
right way.
Ryan Staub still on the Bulls, don't he? Don't he still own the organization?
Who?
Ain't it Jerry Ryan Staub?
If I'm not mistaken, yeah. I'm
Okay,
not.
right.
I'm
Okay,
not
he's still
100%
on
sure
it.
who's all the ownership with the front office with the Bulls. But go ahead, I'll look it up. But I believe it is.
Yeah, I believe it is too. You ain't got to look it up, Flight. That is it's still him. It's still him. That was a ridiculous question. I apologize. I shouldn't have interrupted you like that. I was just really I was thinking. The Bulls are known for making upper room decisions. You know what I'm saying? Real bad ones like they did with Phil Jackson and the rest of their teams like that. So it goes right back to leadership. So I had to say, well, the Bulls' leadership is strong right now. Look who their leader is. That's the owner. And who's the owner again? Yeah, right. That same guy that made that same stupid. Well, I'm telling you. Yeah, right. I apologize, Mike. I wouldn't depend on them. They're gonna do something. They're gonna do something ridiculous.
But, I mean, the Bulls, we're gonna figure it out.
But I take that back though, Flight, because then we have to realize this too. They putting a lot of faith and stuff into their general managers and stuff like that. They letting them guys right there, work out things. They ain't really the owners. The owners. That's why Jerry Ryan stuff. You don't hear too much about him because he letting what's the name? The general managers handle that business. So I have to think about what I just said too. That's why you don't hear too much about him because he letting them deal with that situation. It ain't like Ryan's off playing Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Every time you turn around, he always in the video.
Right. I feel you.
Yeah, because, well, he got his hands. He got his hands in another. He got the Blackhawks too. He own them too. So he all over the place. But that's what I mean, though. He giving that leadership direction all to the general managers. It's for them to sink or swim. So he ain't coming in to making no drastic decisions or nothing like that. And I was thinking Razov would do that, but he's not doing that. I was kind of had to contradict myself. I had to catch myself. He's not even being phased with it. Yeah, he's not. He's not doing that. He's giving it to those guys because when they speak about the general managership of the Bulls, they speak about them highly. They don't speak about them like they don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the general managership for the Chicago Bulls?
I know that he's a new guy, AK. I'm not sure what else he did before this Bulls run.
Okay, I can't hear you, Flight. I'm sorry.
I know that his name is AK, but I don't know what he did prior to the Bulls.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Seems like he's been doing okay. He ain't been making no real drastic moves or stuff like that. Yeah. Hopefully the Bulls work themselves out, Flight. I hope for the best for them, at least for Lonzo's sake anyway.
Yeah, that's fact. JBH says Zoe is 100% solid. The rap guy says NBA team doctors are terrible. What y'all think about that? I mean, Kawhi Leonard has dealt with some issues in the past. What y'all think about the team doctors?
What you mean by that? Well,
Like,
Kawhi Leonard?
no, I mean, do you think that team doctors need to be looked at? Like, do you think they almost are they rushing players back? Because you got to think Lonzo had a multiple time, what was like 2 timetables that wasn't fulfilled. They said this, they said that. I mean, obviously it was some miscommunication here, with when they thought he was going to be back to when he was going to be healthy and basically, how he was feeling.
Well, 100% because that happened with Ben Simmons too.
Right.
I heard he wasn't 100%, and he did play a lot of games.
Right. And recently LeVar came out and said that Lonzo wasn't going to rush back and, he got to take his time and come back, but the plan is for him to get back. So he just rehab, we haven't heard any setbacks or anything like that. But I think that this last situation that he just went through, I think this is the surgery that gets him back on the floor.
Me too.
Otherwise, why the hell did you have it? I'm telling you, I don't think people understand the amount of effort that he's taking to get back on the floor.
Well, if he doesn't come back next season, then the
Well,
talk should be having is trading him. But we don't know.
yeah, I think something like that could happen. I mean, let's see what they do. If they upgrade the point guard position, if they bring in, I'm trying to think who might be out there, but if they was to trade for a starting point guard or something,
Yeah.
then what? What if they trade for Tyrese Maxey?
That would be big.
I mean, then they might try to trade. Who knows? I don't know what they'll do. But it's all about how desperate they are. They probably don't have enough to get him. I just threw his name out there. But I know that they need somebody. What's this dude's name? Out there in Miami, who they trying to trade? Hero. Tyler Hero. They need a third team to take Tyler Hero.
You think Bulls could be there?
They need to try to get involved. They need to try to move some money around.
Trade Tyler Hero for who? Hero for who?
Man,
Oh,
shit, for whatever.
For Lonzo?
No, not for Lonzo. I
like,
mean,
do they still have Caruso?
what'd you say?
Do they still have Caruso?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's other things that could be moved. They need to shake up things anyway. Need to bring in different stuff.
So maybe like Caruso and some picks, and obviously something else.
Drogon. Well, Drogon gone now, though. Yeah, if they had Drogon, they could trade him back over there for Hero, right? Poor Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it don't make no sense out here. Jeez.
Well,
The
that's
Chicago
that. That's
say,
the bet. That's the
what,
bed we made. We have to lie in the fight. You know, the Chicago Bulls did that when they went all out like they did to get those players like they did. To secure them players, like you said, Zach LaVine wanted some killers around him. He got some killers. Now he just got to wait for them to sit up there in the back and produce themselves. They got him. They brought him. They got him there. Didn't go out like he wanted to. All he had to do, he had to stick around and stick true to the plan. If not, there, confusion gonna set in more, even more so. Confusion set it in when the coach couldn't figure out who to get a ball to in the fourth quarter, and then the second confusion came in when Lonzo got hurt like that, got that injury. So now they can't give up the ship just yet. They got to stick with they got to keep it afloat. So they stick with the game plan. But see, the question is, who can they bring in instead? And that's a big question. It's hard to replace Lonzo. I've been telling you, you've been telling people that for years. Now they see it. Yeah. But yeah,
they can't replace Lonzo. You seen
people
Lonzo?
in Chicago. One thing about the people in Chicago, they know Lonzo got game though. Like they know it. They know he worth the wait. Whatever it is, they know he worth the wait. They know the reason why they ain't right now. And that's the lack of him, not the lack just because the fact that he ain't playing, the fact that they got him on the court.
Some closure to the situation.
Yeah, you can't find too many. You can't find too many point guards that can give you what he give you and be successful.
Yeah, the Bulls, they got to figure out what they're gonna do
Yeah,
because they not. They should They should have tried to get somebody. They should try to get Cameron Payne. I'm not saying he would replace Lonzo, but you get somebody in there who could fill the position.
Maybe what's his face? Is John Wall still on the market?
That's what I'm saying. They need to get somebody, like that, who's not a long term option, but somebody who's like who can hold you over.
Yeah, I gotta let John Wall do that first.
John Wall would be perfect. He ain't gonna play that many minutes, so he's not gonna get in the way of the IOs and the Kobe Whites, and he gonna be a starting point guard. He been there.
So who's the starting point guard right now? Caruso?
The point guard right now, if I'm not mistaken, is Io DeSumo.
Oh, okay, he's over Caruso.
Yeah, you have to look it up. Chicago, they didn't know what the hell they was gonna do. Like I said, once Lonzo went down, they was in disarray, and they still picked up off their disarray from initially when he first went down. And they just been going downhill ever since, downhill. And like I said, I want to know how far they could go downhill this season, or are they gonna finally get the wheels on track? These are the questions that people ask. We discuss in Chicago. It's gonna be interesting to see. It says who's your point guard? JDH. Like I said, once the Bulls, like I said, Lonzo wasn't there. I hardly even was watching. They just was like a shell of themselves. It was just hard for me to watch a team, man, selling themselves.
Well, I think a very good move that Chicago made this offseason was picking up that big guy from UConn.
Who?
I don't know his name, but he's the starting center for UConn. I think they signed him to a two-way.
From Utah. And you said what position he play?
Play center.
I don't know. I'm not sure who the player is. It'll come back to me.
Let me see what his name is.
This is trending towards Connor. So Kobe. Is it? I don't know, man.
It's Adama Sanogo.
Kobe White. Who?
Adama Sanogo. That's his name.
I'm not sure who the hell that is.
I don't know if he's still on the team, but I saw they signed him to a two-way a couple weeks ago, and I thought that was a pretty good move.
Yeah, man, it probably was. The teams out here making moves, man. People trying to win. Shit, it's a lot happening. Shout out, rap guys. Shout out, all y'all in the chat. You already know what it is. We discussing a whole lot of Lonzo ball talk. So much speculation, going on that forefront. But time will tell. And right now, Lonzo is rehabbing at the Bulls. They're trying to pick up the pieces. That's what's going on for a fact.
Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with that. They try to pick up the pieces. Hopefully they will.
Yeah, at least like I said, pick up a starting point guard. Like I said, don't got to be necessarily a long term, especially if they have Lonzo in the long term plans. Like it seems like they do. I think that you just you pick up John Wall. That's what I would do.
Right.
Get him for relatively nothing.
Yeah. And then you always got to look at your strengths and your weaknesses also. Like you got to realize too, your starting five ain't really the best defense. Your starting five out there really not the best defensive players in the NBA. So you want to sit up there, you want to intermingle some like New Orleans did. You understand me? They guys went out and got a couple of two rookie defensive players. You understand me? They was offensive minded also, but they was really defensive minded mainly. You understand me? It ain't bad to go into those situations. This is like a fighter that can go two ways, left-handed and right-handed. So really what you want to do is utilize those type of players like that and get it into your system, especially playmakers. Not necessarily scores, especially with the Bulls. Bulls got enough scores. To a certain extent, they need playmakers. They really needed Lonzo not to be a scorer for them mainly, but just to be the playmaker because they have so many weapons. They had go-to weapons. If you ain't got the ball to get your body hand to get them to go to them, instead of just going to one person who ain't going to stop it, that's a problem. So that's what they need. They need playmakers. There's some players that's willing to play some defense. Bucci ain't gonna play no defense. DeRozan gonna halfway play some defense. He gonna try to go right back to his USA days. And DeRozan ain't. I'm sorry. DeRozan ain't gonna play no defense. Period. You understand me? And what's the name? What's the name? He'll go back to his USA days. He'll play some defense, but DeRozan ain't gonna play no defense, man. So that's another problem too. They're going another problem. You can't win no championships playing like they play like that.
Yes.
They play selfish. I'm sorry, play. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. You to a certain, like I said, like to a certain extent, they play selfish. They can't they ain't gonna win playing selfish like that. And then they can't come out of it because they don't have no guards to playmaker guards. No defense, no playmaker. God, then they get down on themselves like that. They get down on themselves real fast, and it'd be Zach LaVine be the one to get down on himself first. Because there ain't nobody stopping nobody.
Well, didn't the Bulls sign Javante Carter?
Javante Carter. That name sounds familiar. Where I hear that name from?
Javon Carter. He plays on the Bucks. He played on the Bucks. He's a Bull now.
Okay. All right, bet. He's still on the Bucks. He's still on the Bucks now?
No, he's on the Bulls now. He plays point guard.
Oh, okay. All right, bet.
I think he can run the position for the meantime because I don't think he's bad. He just wasn't getting enough minutes playing for the Bucks because they have some.
Is he a scoring guard or playmaking guard?
He's like a scoring play. He's like a scoring guard, but I think he's a good playmaker too.
Right. So then when you like, it's like okay, right, okay, understand. See, then like, and I say when I say it like that, then you know, if he's just like a scoring guard, they already got scoring guards. They got two of them. They got what's the name, and then they got the other dude, the one that's starting. You understand me? So they got guards like that. So then if you get into the mode of being a playmaking guard, then that makes him you see him get some minutes. But if he's gonna be a scoring guard, he got to outscore the other two guards. You understand me? The Kobe Whites and the Aldo Sumos of the world, whatever their name is, but you got to outscore them too.
Yeah.
So I mean, he got to bring more to the table than just being a what?
A scorer.
Yeah. He got to know how to get that ball off to them guys and make them dunk on turf and do stuff like Zobe do. Everybody can't do that, kidding. Yeah, it's hard. It ain't easy. They just make it look easy, but it ain't easy though. If it was easy, everybody be doing it. That's the point.
No, that's facts.
Yeah.
So Sanogo on the two-way. We also have 3-point specialists from Turkey and Bittman. We have some promising G League guys, and a new head of player development will be all right. I hope so.
Maybe they leave Sonogo in the G League this year. Let's see what he does because, you know, that's what they did with Siakam, the Raptors. And he had a very promising career so far.
Yeah.
So let's leave Sonogo in the G League this year. Maybe he has a very good G League year. Then maybe you never know. He'll be starting next year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who is Sanogo? Who is he?
He played for UConn. He was the big man for UConn. I watched.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you was talking about him. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, he a rookie this year?
Yeah.
The Bulls just signed him. Would they get him in the first round or second round?
Second round. I think that was a steal, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I watch UConn. I'm a big UConn fan, so he was very good. He reminds me of like an Embiid. He could shoot, and he's a body too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Salute to all y'all in the chat. Listen, we're gonna pull back up tomorrow, man. We're gonna discuss some more basketball topics. It's Flight Sports TV. I already know what it is. We got some more content coming. It's got a busy weekend. A lot of things coming on the horizon.
Flight Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.